Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. What I wanted to do was show you what was in the Heroes of Normandy World War II Compendium. So this is the hero system, and I picked it up because I didn't see anything on YouTube. So if there's a YouTube video out there I missed, point my way to it. But for those who haven't been able to find a YouTube video covering this, I wanted to show you exactly what's in here. So my son and I, we like the Heroes of Normandy system, and they've released a lot of expansions, and they've released, Shadows over Normandy, and this was part of a Kickstarter program which had like their storage solutions, and then it was this compendium that took all the rules from like all the, that's my understanding, from all the expansions, and it completes the Normandy campaign essentially. Not to say that they won't release other Normandy stuff, but like this is the culmination of all the Normandy rules. And one thing I noticed on the side of the slipcase was it showed Heroes of Normandy, and then there's going to be Eastern Front, Pacific, then you have the North Africa, and then right over here, well, if I move it, so then it's got the other theaters, and then it's got Shadows over Normandy. So this compendium covers Heroes of Normandy and Shadows over Normandy. Now it was nice to see the hint that there's other theaters, I hope, possibly coming. Okay, so this is all the rules. Well, it's all the rules plus some artwork, and it did come in a nice slipcase. Now this just arrived, and I already pulled the shrink wrap off because I was really excited to get this. And I thought that, instead of watching me pull all the plastic off, you want to see what's in here. So let's grab the first item. So first you get this cardboardish folder. So this contains player aid charts. And this is fantastic. From what I've read, like I've read people who wrote about the compendium, I just didn't actually get to see it for myself, but this dossier looking folder is player aid cards, plus there's enough room that you can store your Gazette. If I had mine handy, I'd show you, but I got the Brandenburg scenario, so it came with some Fallschirmjäger. Anyway, all those rules from all your Gazettes and different things could fit right into this dossier, and then that fits right into the slipcase. So that's great. And then the player aid cards that come with this are fantastic as well, because, for example, this first couple here is special abilities. And there's abilities on here I hadn't seen before, because the expansions, as they add new characters, they add new abilities. So there's like medics on here. So it was very cool to see, wow, there's a lot. So the basic Heroes of Normandy game, came with a lot of abilities for your soldiers, but they've added more and more. And I mean, a person could say, gee, that's kind of overkill on symbols, isn't it? Maybe, but it's so cool. Look, they even got the dogs, canine units. So again, this at least is 4 pages of player aid charts here of the symbols. So it's nice to have all the symbols, all the rules, plus this is all the errata, and this is like the 2nd edition rules, version 2 of the rules. So this should be maybe your most complete translation of everything as well. Then you've got a player aid chart with terrain effects, same thing, nice explanation of all the different symbols that come on your map boards. And again, this is going to cover like the Normandy landing maps if you had that, more reference sheet, order phase, so I mean this is really, really good. And I also like this one here, terrain elements. So it goes in, you got the picture, again explanations, plus every once in a while you see some great artwork. So I know I have just the base game and that one Gazette, so they have a lot of what I thought is fantastic artwork, which is kind of why I was drawn to the system in the first place. So throughout all the documents you'll see they've got little drawings, artwork that they've done. Alright, and then here's a free battle mode. So this is nice too to have this on the card. In the book, they go into more detail about the free battle mode. This is how my son and I mostly play, is we'll set ourselves up with a point limit, and then from there we can build the scenario that we're going to play against each other. So it was nice to have this on a card. In the other game, it's in the back of the rule book, but again, it's kind of neat just to have this on the card. You can lay out it for reference. So that's another chart they've got there for you. Then it came with 3 scenarios. I'm guessing these are different than maybe what comes in your civilians under fire. All 3 of these scenarios require these civilians under fire. Well, let me see what's on the back here. Yeah, because it says on the front, must have civilians under fire. And all of these mention having civilians under fire. So I don't know if these are like additional missions for that particular expansion or exactly how that works. But there you go. You even get 3 scenarios. So you get your player aid charts, all your symbol explanations, how to run your free battle, and 3 scenarios. So fantastic. Plus again, all the room to store all those additional Gazette materials. So that brings us to the book itself. Well, for those who are curious about the slipcase, it's got great artwork on there. Yeah, bullet holes. It's not flimsy at all. It's pretty sturdy. I only mention that because I know some people are like, well, what's the cardboard like? Is it paper thin? Is it cardstock? It's actually fairly thick, and once you put all the materials in it, it's a nice, sturdy box collection that you have. I admit that when your little dossier there of player aid charts is not filled out, like mine just has what came in there, that sits very loosely and feels very flimsy. But I'm sure that as you start filling that up with your materials, then you're going to end up with a very solid bookcase, slipcase cover. Alright, so there's the rule book. Again, the cover kind of matches the slipcase. It's very nice. I love the artwork. It's very subtle. You got your band of brothers there on the cover. 101st Airborne, your Fallschirmjäger. So let's see what this looks like. So we probably won't read all the pages, but one thing that really stood out is, again, all their fantastic artwork is throughout the book. How many pages? Well, let's get to the index here. Well, I should say table of contents. There's your introduction to the system. Oh, I thought I had a table of contents. Apparently that's later on. So let's just flip here real quick. There's your index. So the book itself is about 145. You know, they count the blank pages and everything. So it says it's 145 pages of actual material that's not an index. You're looking at, let's see, if we skip the credits. So you're probably looking at about 135 pages. Because see, here's keywords, 137, but then the first couple pages are kind of blank. So you got about 135, 136 pages of actual content for you to look through. Part of the rule book is actually a art book, which is also very, very fantastic. So again, if you're like me and you haven't picked up all the expansions yet, just to help give you some flavor and some additional history on some of the people, you know, you've got this art book. So we'll flip through, grab a few. Yeah, amazing stuff. So the art book just really, as I was flipping through, just really reminded me why I thought this is a fun system. You know, you can really debate how serious of a game this is, because you know, but that's for another video. We just want to show you what the compendium contains. Now if we go back, so the art book at the end. Now as you go through the beginning, these first 16 pages, I'm gonna say, see, here's the kind of the index or the table of contents I remember seeing, but it's just the appendix. But the actual rules themselves, from the first, you know, what comes in the base game here, this is about 16 pages, and they appear to be very, very thorough. Great examples, lots of pictures of the things that you're talking about. Not that the game was overly complicated in the first place, but I think one of the challenges was learning what a lot of the key symbols do and how kind of pieces interact when you're using certain symbology. But it looks like they've done a very, very good job of fleshing out the rules. I didn't reread all of them yet. You know, I started over. I've got a couple pages in, but I mean the basic rules part is really nice. Then when you hit the appendix, it covers battlefield, additional rules, scenario rules, special abilities, and recruitment options. So, you know, boom, right into the battlefield. Now this is probably going into, if I remember the descriptions that I've read, the first 16 pages or so is basically just the rules that come in the base game. So if you just had Heroes of Normandy and you bought the book, then the rules that come in the first part of the book then cover everything that you need. And then when you hit the appendix and it starts talking about battlefields and these other things, this is more in line with a lot of the expansions that came out. So this is all the rules compiled into one spot for you, which I think is just fantastic. So everything's here. What I like about that, and why I think it's fantastic, is because you can look and see what's coming up, what they've added, and then you can make decisions on what else you want to purchase. Since this does contain the rules for Shadows over Normandy, I know that a lot of folks don't consider that, you know, officially a war game, but I thought about picking that up after looking through here, because some of the artwork, you know, and then realizing when you play it, yeah, this is just, you know, a fun expansion. Well, let's see. I was trying to get to it here. I thought they had, there was like a little section that had some Shadows over Normandy artwork. And I saw that and I was like, well, yeah, of course, if it's Cthulhu, you got to get that. So we'll just kind of flip through here. Paranoid, here we go. I think some of that. The weird side of Heroes of Normandy. Okay, so there we go. Now we get into some of the Shadows over Normandy rules. They're kind of in their own part of the rule book here. But again, it's all here, so you can check things out. Again, just know it's an alternate universe to their hero system, but you know, my son, he's into that. The Hellboy, and then you watch, you know, Hydra from the, you know, Avengers, and it's kind of like the weird side of the Nazis. So he's like, yeah, we must get, and it's got a lot of stuff too. There you go. So there's your rules that cover all the historical aspects, then the Shadows over Normandy, then it goes right into the art book. So I hope that gives you a pretty good idea of what comes in this for those who haven't seen it or maybe are on the fence about purchasing this. Cost, I got this through Amazon, so it was like $47. I'm not sure if that's a good deal or not, but I figured it would work for me. So that's about all I've got for you. If you have any questions or comments, you know, you can leave that below. I'll see what I can answer for you. But if you have this book and you know, leave your thoughts. What do you think of it? Was this worth the purchase for you? And you know, we'll see you around for next time. Thanks. Bye.